Hello everyone. I hope you clicked this PowerPoint as a slideshow so you can hear me talking to understand this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint is going to be about end rhyme and internal rhyme. And before we get into that, we're first going to talk about how music has rhythm and so does poetry. And we're talking about poetry right now, so we're going to use music to kind of help us understand poetry a little bit better. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Why does rhyme matter? What does rhyme do for poems and music? And why do we care about this? It's important to note also that poetry and music are made to be listened to and not just read. And my answer for why does rhyme matter is I think it makes, songs catchier, that makes them sound better, it makes you feel a certain way when you hear them. And that kind of also answers what does rhyme do for poems and music. And I care about this because I love music, and music is very, very personal to me, and I listen to it every single day. And without the rhythm, it just wouldn't be the same. And poetry has the same elements, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so end rhyme is what you're used to hearing and what you've probably learned about before. So there are rhymes that occur at the end of lines. So this poem has the end rhyme of A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B from Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. So some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So here we have fire, desire, and fire rhyme, and we have ice, twice, ice, and suffice rhyme, and hate and great. So end rhyme is rhyming at the end of this poem, okay? At the end of each line. Internal rhyme is what you're used to seeing, but you're not always taught. It's something that you see all the time, especially in music. So it's rhymes that occur in the middle of the lines. So here we have cloud and shroud rhyming, but cloud isn't at the end, it's in the middle of the rhyme. So this is an excerpt from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So in mist or cloud, on mast or shroud, it perched for vespers 9, whiles all the night through fog smoke white glimmered the white moonshine. God save thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends from plague thee thus, that plague thee thus. Why lookest thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. So, we have rhyming cloud, shroud, night, white, white, thee, fiends, thee, thou, and bow, which it depends on how you say this, but you can argue that these rhyme. So, internal rhyme is rhyming that's happening inside of the poem, inside of the lines, and end rhyme is that is happening on the end of the lines. So you might be wondering, oh my gosh, Mr. Reddish, why do we care about end rhyme and internal rhyme? And why do we care about it in poetry in general? Well, this is why. This song, I'm sure most of you know, I hope most of you know, because you'll be listening to most of it today, is Flashing Lights by Kanye West. And Kanye is really good at using end rhyme and internal rhyme all at once together. And guess what it does? It makes his song sound amazing. It sounds awesome. And it's very rhythmic and it moves very well. So I want you to get out of this slideshow and go click on this link and go these are the first lines after he says flashing lights a bunch of times. And I want you to listen to the very beginning all the way to where it ends in Yeezy. And then come back to the slide. So go ahead and leave and then come back. The recording will start over, but yeah, sorry. Okay, so after you've watched it, I'm going to talk about our end rhyme now. So we have stars, cars, apartment, department, start. I'm not going to say that word. This ends in ida, water, but he says wata, like it rhymes with and author. Instead of saying author, he says author. So, it really matters about pronunciation. That's why we can't just read this because you would say, "Oh, Florida doesn't rhyme with water," but you can argue water and author rhyme. So that's how he uses end rhyme in this in these lyrics. And then he uses a bunch of internal rhyme. And if you listen to the song, it sounds like he's just rolling and rolling and rolling with rhythm when he's singing because of everything that's rhyming. All the or, floor, couture, store, more, or, hors d'oeuvres, your, favor. I mean, it's all over the place and it makes it sound good. Okay, so now we're going to apply this to poetry. We've read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe before, and we've talked about it and its meaning, but now we're going to look at end rhyme and internal rhyme inside of it, and I encourage you to go click on this link or copy and paste it and go listen to James Earl Jones read it because he's Darth Vader and that sounds cooler, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. So, once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more. So this is a really eerie poem, which I'm not going to go in great detail because we've already talked about it before, but look at the words that he chose to rhyme internally and at the end. So dreary and weary. Napping, rapping, tapping, and then lore, door, more. What does this do to the poem? I want you to think about how this internal rhyme and end rhyme adds emphasis to the eeriness of this poem, and how, especially if you hear James Earl Jones read it, it really works when he reads it versus me. So I want you to think about how it makes you feel. Okay, so now we're going to have an activity that is going to be inside of your Google Doc that you will copy and paste and put into your personal work folder, which you already know. So you're going to pick a song, your favorite song, any song, and write down the title in the Google Doc. There'll be a space for you there to do that. Then you will copy and paste 5 to 10 lines of lyrics into the doc, and then I want you to highlight all of the end rhymes in matching colors, just like I did the example, and then highlight the internal rhyme in matching colors, just like I did in the example. And it only has to be 5 to 10 lines, nothing crazy. And if you are confused at any point, please refer back to my example, listen to the lecture again, and if you're still not sure, or if nothing is just making sense and you're like, why is this happening to me, just email me and I will respond right away, because I know you're doing this online class.